The voting may take place in Iowa tonight, but with a presidential primary in Florida on January 31st, voters here in north central Florida will be watching Iowa carefully. Now, what do the caucuses there mean for Florida? TV 20's Jessica Gable finds out why voters here should pay attention.
Democrat or Republican, what's so important, or depending on your view, unimportant about the Iowa caucuses? The two-party leaders I spoke to say Iowa may not be a good indicator of who the GOP nominee will be, but both Republicans and Democrats in Florida can still learn a thing or two from the caucus in the Midwest.
Caucuses often can be really the most hardcore of any political party, you know, going out in the snow, the rain, whatever, to go caucus and choose somebody.
So the dedicated caucus goers in Iowa can be a sounding board for Republican voters in the Sunshine State. But Democrats, Iowa is important to them because the Republican nominee eventually will be the one they will work to beat.
There are consequences, national consequences, to not only who we choose to be president, but who we choose to be the nominees of our major political parties.
But using Iowa as a litmus test for the rest of the political race may not be entirely accurate. Bob Dole in 1996 and George W. Bush in 2000 both went on to win the GOP nomination after winning Iowa. But they're the only two in the past 25 years.
The odd thing in Iowa is that each time a candidate becomes popular, as we get to know him or her, they lose their popularity. In this case, with the Iowa caucus goers.
And while the frontrunners trade places in the run-up to the Iowa caucuses, the advice seems to be to take all the gear shifting with a grain of salt.
It is important to pay attention to see how the process works, and again, to see how the candidates react throughout the process. There's a lot to be learned from that, to learn about how the candidates react. And that can be, for voters in Florida, you know, picking up on those kinds of cues they can apply to their own decisions.
Polls show Mitt Romney in the lead in terms of Iowa voter support, with Ron Paul in a close second place. The survivors will move on to face voters here in Florida in just 4 weeks. Jessica Gable, TV 20 News.